Hello, this is Ralph back with Hermetic Temple Arts, and today I'm going to be talking about a few tarot reading basics. And looks like the sound is coming through okay. I'm going to go to screen share and see how this works. Looks good. Shrink that puppy down, and we are off. Uh, First off, when it comes to tarot reading, I am more of a, well, the word that I use is shamanic type of a tarot reader. Basically, it means the same thing as spirit led. And what you do in the shamanic style of tarot reading, or spirit led tarot reading, or intuitive art of tarot reading, you listen to your gut and you try to discern what the world of spirit or your guardian angel or your spirit guide, however you approach it, however you understand it, you try to figure out and discern what your spirit guide is telling you, and then you incorporate that into the reading. But before you get started off on that, it is important to follow a few tarot basics. And if you are just a beginner, just getting started out, it does help to, before you start doing tarot readings, it helps to sit down and read some of the books. There are a lot of very good books out there, and I've got three here that I thoroughly love. One is by Eden Gray, and you can still find copies of this around. I think I found it on Amazon. You can also go to like used bookstores and find used copies. But Eden Gray was a very popular author on tarot back in the 70s, and she did a lot of good work as far as writing instruction booklets about tarot. And one that I have is called A Complete Guide to the Tarot. And love the way they have this put, lavishly illustrated, but very good insights by Eden Gray. She was a very good teacher when it came to tarot reading. And if you're just starting out, Eden Gray is a great asset. Her work is just a great thing to go through and read. Another book that I like, and this is For the Complete Beginner. This sounds funny, but I just love the Complete Idiot's Guide series. And they have a book that was written by Arlene Toganetti and Carolyn Flynn, and I apologize for mispronouncing either of those two names. But they wrote a book called The Complete Idiot's Guide to Tarot Spreads Illustrated, and this book is magnificent. I really cannot recommend it enough. It covers just a little bit of everything that you really need to get started as a tarot reader. It doesn't cover everything, but it covers a lot of things. Pretty much the introductory material that you will need to get off the ground doing tarot reading. And I picked up my copy of The Complete Idiot's Guide to Tarot Spreads in a used bookstore. And I think I picked it up for like $5, something like that. And it's worth its weight in gold. Now, I've seen it on Amazon. You can buy it used on Amazon for a variety of prices. And then you can also, oh man, you can buy it new on Amazon for like a very high price. Like I think the last one I saw was like $2,000. So yeah, it's not a book. For some reason, it's no longer in print, but you can find used copies, and you can still find it new if you're willing to shell out a couple grand. But this is a magnificent book. And I just can't recommend it highly enough. They tell you everything you're going to need to know, and then they also guide you on other books that would be helpful. So if you're just starting out your tarot journey, The Complete Idiot's Guide to Tarot Spreads Illustrated, in my opinion, is the perfect starting point. And you can still find it. You can still find it for a fairly reasonable price. So, yeah, that's one that I thoroughly enjoy. And then my last book that I'm going to recommend, and this is still in print. You can still find it new. It's by Lon Milo DeQuette, and it's called Understanding Aleister Crowley's Thoth Tarot. And it's geared towards the Thoth tarot deck. And if people are put off kind of by the work of Aleister Crowley or the look of the Thoth tarot deck, then this is probably not a work for you. But I'm a reader using the Rider Waite deck, and I found that by using the insights given by Lon Milo DeQuette into the Thoth Tarot, I could easily translate that over to the Rider Deck Tarot. I mean, a lot of the insights are the same. The illustrations are markedly different between the two tarot decks. But yeah, you can incorporate the deeper meanings from one to the other fairly easily. And of course, a lot of the major insights that Lon Milo DeQuette gives apply to either tarot deck, either the Thoth or to the Rider Waite Smith tarot deck, or the Morgan Greer, if you like that tarot deck. So yeah, this is a great book. It's more for the let's just say the not your beginning reader, but for the intermediate reader or the advanced reader. Lon Milo, he has a depth of knowledge pertaining to Aleister Crowley, the tarot, occult, pretty much all that. And he also has a sense of humor and the ability to present deep esoteric themes in an understandable and highly entertaining way. So, yeah, if you are more of an advanced reader and you haven't seen this book yet, I would recommend it definitely. And if you're just a beginner, well, if you have some extra money, you might want to look into this book. But if you're just a very, very new beginner, I would definitely probably spend your time on the less advanced books first, and then work your way up to this one a little bit later. But yeah, this is another gem by Lon Milo DeQuette. Now, what else do we have here? Go back to Eden Gray's book for the complete beginner. This is a great place to start. Now, after you have purchased, picked out, found your instructional books, uh, go ahead and read through them, study them, learn the symbology. Almost every tarot deck that you buy is going to have that small little maybe 12-page instructional booklet in black and white. And that's a good place to start for the absolute beginner that's just starting on a budget. But over time, you should definitely take the time to learn the symbology of the tarot. There's a lot of depth in the symbology, and you can deduce and find a great volume of meaning in each and every tarot card. But first, you have to learn the symbolism and then meditate on each tarot card. There's a lot of things that you miss when you just glance at tarot cards and then look away to another tarot card. If you spend the time to meditate on each card, what a recommendation that I have found to be essential and very helpful is to meditate on one card per day. And just whenever you do your meditation time, set aside like 20 minutes or so where you will not be disturbed and just meditate on one card per day. And then at the end of 78 days, you'll start to have a fairly good understanding of those tarot cards. Because if you just quickly look at the card and then try to give your interpretation and then move on to the next card, there's a lot of things that you miss. So do your time meditating with the card and allow the card time to speak to you. And this is a process that I definitely recommend in the beginning, in your first 78 days of learning the tarot. But it's a process that can be ongoing. I know tarot readers that have been reading for years that still take the time to just meditate on a certain card and just see what insights they can get through that process of meditation. So, yeah, that should be your second step, meditation. Your third step in learning how to read tarot cards. And this is essential too. The mistake that a lot of tarot readers make is that they will like do a three-card spread, let's say, and then they'll give the interpretation of the first card, they'll do an interpretation of the second card, and then they'll do an interpretation of the third card without linking those cards together. What we tend to do is we tend to think that, okay, this card means one thing, and then the second card means something else, and the third card means something completely different. You need to learn to link all of the cards together and find a meaning that is linked together. One bit of advice that I've heard that is, again, very good is make those cards tell a story. You can see a story being told in when you're doing your tarot reading, if you're doing it with depth. Uh, the Ace of Wands and the Three of Cups and the Seven of Swords, they may seem to be completely different cards, but once you know the deeper meaning, you can take all three of those cards and use them to tell a story, and not only just tell a story, but relate a story that has meaning to the question at hand. What a lot of new tarot readers will do is that somebody will come for a reading and it'll be like, a financial reading, like am I going to make money today? And then the reader will deal the cards and it'll come up with cups, and they'll think, well, cups do not relate to finances. Cups relate to love and relationships. And instead of giving a reading concerning the seeker's financial energy, they will instead find themselves doing a love and romance and relationships type reading. Uh, but if you look more deeply at the cards and you consider the question at hand, if the question is about what's my financial energy, will I make money today? And you're getting a lot of cup cards in there, you can interpret that in relationship to questions about finances. If they're positive cup cards, then uh, it is relating that there's positive energy. If you're getting a card like the Five of Cups, which shows three cups overturned and spilled, then you can interpret that by meaning, okay, this probably won't be the best day for you financially, but don't worry, things will get better. So, yeah, learn to read the cards in relationship to one another, and also in relationship to your client's question. Because, yeah, it's easy to go off on a tangent, forget about the client's question, get so wrapped up in storytelling with the cards that you spend 20 minutes doing a reading that does not answer your client's question. And that leads me to my fourth point. And this is where the shamanistic approach comes in. Make sure you connect with your client's question, and your spirit guides, and give an answer that has depth, that has meaning, that gives your client some value. Uh, you have to be giving your client some value. You have to be answering your client's question and be doing it in an in-depth and honest way. And it doesn't really matter in my mind if you know all there is to know about tarot, if you know all there is to know about the symbology and esoteric meaning, and you can be a regular walking encyclopedia of esoteric meaning. If you are not getting to the heart of the question, and you are not giving an answer that your client can relate to, then you're not doing your job as a tarot reader or as a spiritual advisor. So, yes, after you have read the books, after you've done your meditation, after you've practiced, relating the cards to one another and relating the cards to a variety of different questions, then you need to take that extra step and connect. Connect with your client, connect with your spirit guides, connect with your client's spirit guides if you can. And if you've taken the time to make that connection, you will do a great tarot reading. If you cannot connect to your client, and you cannot connect to the question, and you cannot connect to the world of spirit, then you may be a walking encyclopedia when it comes to the esoteric and tarot lore, but you will not be able to do a decent tarot reading. Not from my perspective anyway. So that final point, taking the time to connect and doing whatever spiritual exercise uh, that you can, that you're comfortable with, to build that connection. You definitely need to do that, because if you're not connecting, then you're not going to give a very good reading. It may be on track with the interpretations given by the Golden Dawn or any other esoteric society, but if bottom line, if you're not answering your client's question, then you're not being effective. So those are my 4 points. Read the books, do your study, do your meditation, learn to read the cards in relationship to one another, and connect to the world of spirit. I'm going to leave some links down below in the video description where you can find all 3 of these books. Plus, there's another that I'll also throw in, Meditations on the Tarot, and that's about a 688-page book, and it's very in-depth. I do not recommend that book for the beginner, but if you're wanting to learn more about Christian Hermeticism and a Christian Hermetic interpretation of the tarot, that's also a good book, but I'd recommend that you start with these other books first. So that's all I have now for this video. I will go a little bit more in depth on tarot in upcoming videos. And thanks for dropping by and tuning in. And we will catch you all later. Now, how do I get out of here? Let's see. Stop the screen share. And I promise I will get better at doing this too. There I am. Ah, once again, you all take care, and we'll catch you in future videos. Thanks for dropping by.